So, you may have noticed that it has been a while since I posted. That is because last Saturday, I graduated! And there are many things that I could say, but in order to be orderly about it, I'm going to rewind 3 weeks and start there. We went to Griffith Observatory. Now, one thing you should know about me is I am a huge astronomy geek. As in, I took astronomy 3 times in high school. By choice. So while we're at Griffith, I'm nerding out. And then, of course, we were real mature and started talking about the 7th planet's name. Uranus, such a terrible planet name. You know, the actual scientific pronunciation is Uranus. That's not any better. I mean, how are kids supposed to take this seriously? I know, I mean, it's like, hey kids, what's the next planet after Saturn? Uranus! Yeah, and by we, I mean a whole bunch of girls who just graduated from college. What does this say about us? I have no idea. So anyway, we looked at all the displays and talked about how the moon affects tides and how the tilt of the earth affects the seasons and blah de blah. And then the next day, the next day, solar eclipse! So I screwed up. I didn't actually think that you could see it in LA because I looked at this map and I just didn't think you could see it. So I'm driving along the beach trying to find parking, and I'm on speakerphone with my roommate and she's trying to guide me to a parking place, and I look up and it's all cloudy, like completely overcast, but thinly enough that you can just see the shape of the sun, and it was a crescent. I was looking at a crescent sun! That was the most exciting day of my life! My roommate was like, whoa there, you're still driving, find a parking place, and I was like, eclipse! Oh. I never thought I'd see a solar eclipse. It was on my geeky astronomy bucket list. Next on the bucket list is to see a total solar eclipse. So when you can see the total solar eclipse, you can see the corona around the sun, which is all the flares and fluff and stuff that flies off of it. Which leads me to another phenomenon I want to see. The auroras. The northern lights. The northern lights and the southern lights happen when solar wind hits the atmosphere. It's like shooting the atoms with caffeine, so the electrons are all like, ah! And then when they calm down, they shoot off some light. The color of the light depends on the type of atom. So since our atmosphere is mostly nitrogen, there's a lot of green in the northern lights. Since there's also a lot of oxygen in our atmosphere, there's some blue mixed in there too. You can also get red out of both kinds of atoms, but that's a little bit more complicated than electrons just going from excited to normal. Auroras only happen near the north and south poles because the solar wind has to get past the magnetic field, which is shaped like a donut with the holes near the poles of the Earth. That rhymes. Anyway, the donut comes to this point where the magnetic poles are, which is what the compass points to, because compasses are magnetic, which is cool, and also problematic if you happen to be transporting a giant magnetic meteor by ship. So anyway, the magnetic field around our planet helps protect us from killer radiation from the sun, which is why it's actually really dangerous to travel to the moon or to Mars, because a solar flare would literally fry you. It's the sunburn of death. So that's your science tidbit for the day. Solar eclipses, northern lights, and look at astronomy picture of the day. It's my favorite thing.